How to get your first client as a 3D artist is probably one of the most asked questions that I get. I've spent the last 2 years learning how to become a better freelance 3D artist, and within that time frame, I've managed to create my own method of finding the right clients for my own niche. I'm spending hours of my time creating this video because as someone who had to figure all this out on my own, having a free and detailed explanation would have saved me so much time. In this video, I'm going to explain and break down some concepts that you probably have a hard time understanding and explain why they're important for you to consider. I'll also be giving you specific examples of what to avoid so you're prepared for the real world. Stop making these huge mistakes. The first mistake I see beginner 3D artists do when finding clients is that they find super large brands or companies that have nothing to do with their niche, and then they inquire to work with them. For example, if you're a 3D artist who specializes in low poly character modeling only, and you inquire to work with a cosmetics brand like MAC Cosmetics, Rhode Skincare, or Dior, then you will certainly be ghosted. You first have to know what type of 3D artist you are and what services you're capable of providing before inquiring to work with any company. I will talk more about this later. There are multiple types of work that 3D artists can do, and depending on what you do, the pay is different. 3D animation for product visualization, 3D character modeling for games, 3D stylized environment artists for games or VR, 3D interior design or architecture visualization. For this video, I'm only going to focus on the product visualization niche, as that is what I mostly do and what I'm comfortable giving advice about. Product visualization is essentially taking a physical object or a 2D concept illustration of potential products and turning these into 3D objects to be used for animations, websites, or apps. To give you an example of what this looks like, take the TYB app for instance. Inside this app, you can earn discounts and collectibles for skincare brands. These collectibles are actually 3D animated renders and probably made by a 3D artist. For websites, take a look at the Ritual website and notice how they incorporated 3D elements here. Additionally, this work by Haruko Hayakawa for a K-pop group was 3D modeled and animated. All these examples I'm showing you are 3D services that you can potentially provide your clients. Here's what to avoid and look out for. When it comes to providing services, you have to make sure that you can actually fulfill these requests. If you're a beginner 3D artist, and you've only just started 3D animations using a low-spec laptop like a MacBook, you have to consider if your computer specs are able to handle animating and rendering super high-quality work in a timely manner. If your MacBook takes a week to render a 10-second animation and your project is due within 5 days, then you might not be able to take on that project. You have to know yourself, your equipment, and how much time you have to complete a project. Otherwise, you might be setting yourself up for failure. Is your portfolio attracting dream clients? Once you have an idea of the potential services you can provide companies and you know what your niche is, then it's time to make sure that your portfolio is actually attracting your dream clients. Most of the time, 3D artists don't even bother creating a website for their portfolio and solely rely on their Instagram feed to be their portfolio. While this isn't technically wrong to do, I highly advise anyone looking for clients to look the part. Would you buy a $1,000 product from someone who doesn't even have a website and just sends you to their Instagram page that only has 10 posts on it? No? Then I rest my case. It's important to invest a little bit of time and money into creating a website for your portfolio. It shows that you take your business seriously, and it will only help you attract clients that want to work with you. Your portfolio should contain a variety of 3D work. For example, you should have a mixture of both 3D animations and 3D images. You should also showcase multiple styles and vibes that you're able to do. It's important to note that the more unique your 3D art and animations are, the more likely you are to stand out from the crowd. Here are some websites of 3D artists that I follow and love because of how unique and dreamy their 3D work is. Notice how each artist has multiple types of styles in their art. Some are stylized, yet professional looking with the studio lighting, and some have this cute and dreamy vibe to them. The more variety you have on your website, the better chances you have of landing a client because you might fit the specific style they're looking for. Are you even visible, or are you a ghost? Once you've completed and actually polished up your website, it's time to make sure that clients can actually find you. You've probably heard this time and time again, but social media is one of the best ways of reaching your dream clients. For 3D artists, I highly recommend using Instagram, Pinterest, and TikTok. Yes, all three, and posting your work on all platforms. Make sure that your bio on Instagram and TikTok contain the following information: your niche, your location, your email address, and remember to put a link to your website. Some brands view Instagram and TikTok on a web browser, so it's important to have your email plastered somewhere accessible, like your bio. Do you even know where you're going? Lastly, it's important to fish in the right pond. If you want to get paid well, you need to know the right brands to target that can afford your services. It's important to know the difference between high-value niches and low-value ones. For example, a high-value niche can be any company that has to do with tech or software. In recent times, this can be companies investing a lot of money into creating generative AI software where they need 3D artists to test out their platform. An example of this is Meshi.ai. When it comes to product visualizations, you can make the most money doing commercial-based work by producing very photorealistic renders, animations, or simulations. A low-value niche can be creating low-poly 3D models, maybe for a startup company looking to create their first game app. Another example can be working for very small businesses who don't have a big marketing budget, such as in the food and beverage industries. Before you dream about making millions, remember what I said earlier about knowing your limits and your computer specs? Make sure you're not fooling yourself by wanting to create very photorealistic simulations that requires a very high-spec computer when you're just starting out. Unless you already have an amazing computer with a Threadripper and two 4090 NVIDIA GPUs. Anyways, but where are these clients actually located? Now that you know what types of clients to target, it's time to go fishing. One of the best tricks I have for finding clients to work with is simply by doing cold outreach. Yes, there's no shortcut to this. You literally have to find their Instagram or email address for the business and reach out to them yourself. One of my favorite websites to find valid email addresses for companies is onbento.com. Bento was actually created as a website mainly for UGC creators, but I found that anyone who wants to find valid email addresses for companies can also use their website. There's a free plan, but if you want more out of it, you can subscribe to their service. If you want $5 towards your upgrade, use my link in the captions. But know that this video is not sponsored at all. That is just my referral link. Once you find the relevant contact's email address, reach out to them. And if you get ghosted, try following up again and repeat these steps every quarter. You have to do this hundreds and thousands of times until you find a company that tells you they're interested in your services. Now what? You've worked so hard to find your clients, and the moment someone actually wants to work with you, you're lost. You don't know what to do, you freeze, you feel like you're not ready, and you overthink everything you've done until this point. Don't worry. If you're interested in actually securing your first paid deal, my next video goes through an in-depth process of how to prepare you for this exact moment. If you found this video helpful, please support this channel by giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. You can also follow me on Instagram to stay up to date with my 3D creations. With that, I wish you good luck and see you on the next video.